Riddle me this. What is the hardest job, but almost no one can do it but this one person? Well, that's a great one. I don't even know if I can answer it myself, but today we're going to find out. It's a lot of fun because this is Mother's Day week, and we have a special guest that is going to join us to kind of help us through this week and give us some tips on what being a mother is all about. We will be right back after this. All right, everyone, we are terribly excited. I mean, I know I say excited a lot on this podcast, but I'm going to say terribly excited because I am almost jittery. We have our First Lady of Calvary joining us, Pastor Racheal.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, I am so glad to have you. And, let's reveal some things here. First of all, we've known each other a long time. We've kind of covered that.
Long time.
We've talked a little bit about that, so we don't talk about that so much, but you've also had so many different ministries that you've been a part of at Calvary.
That is true.
And not only at Calvary, you've done some things in the district. You've done things, let's just be honest, around the United States. So you've been a part of a lot. So we have a lot you and I could talk about today.
We could.
We're going to focus on one subject today that is important to a lot of people.
Okay.
Probably half our demographic, and that is mothers.
Ooh, motherhood.
It's Mother's Day week.
The M word.
Oh, the big M word, right? So I know it's kind of funny because, like I said before, we have had this conversation before off camera about being parents. And you and I both are older parents. You know, a lot of people sometimes will have their kids when they're 20, 22. You and I waited a while.
We did.
So I know a lot of my family says, you and Amanda, y'all just took your time. And I said, well, I'm grateful we did.
Yes, that's the little bit of gray on you and me both. But hey, time and wisdom, I agree. It helped me out for sure.
So we're going to start at the beginning, though. Let's
Okay.
start to talk about growing up. Was that your dream as a little girl to be a mother?
Now, I've never been asked that question ever before, so that's a big one.
Ding, ding.
Yeah, okay, I was actually such a tomboy, if you didn't know that.
No.
So I was not the girl that planned out her wedding dress and had her children named early on. I really just rode dirt bikes and played a little piano, I think, at the force of my parents initially. And so in answer to your question, no, I really was not that girl. Isn't that funny?
That is kind of funny. Knowing you now is kind of funny.
It is funny. I'm sure some are watching in absolute disbelief, but I don't know. I like to travel and go and do, and I just, it came late in life for me, and here we are.
Yeah, that's cool. And so I just wanted a little background on that because, there are those like you who meet a little bit more into sports and activities and something that's all they do all day is play dress up and pretend that they got a baby doll. So that's kind of cool.
I did dress up my brother.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's get some details on that one.
I used to dress my sweet brother Patrick up in a little dress that said, "I love Daddy."
Oh my goodness. Do we have pictures?
We do have pictures.
Yes. Blackmail. I love it.
I don't know what I was thinking. I should have brought that today.
You should have.
So that was the only mothering that I did. He's almost 10 years younger than me. And so I've always been a mother to him. I'm sure he loves that. And he's probably laughing hysterically right now. But that's the only person I mothered was my poor brother.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting for the fact that, you did probably mother him to some extent, right? You and him both share an amazing mother.
Oh,
and
my word. We're so blessed.
Bishop and Honey are just amazing. And Honey has always been an inspiration, not only for the ladies of Calvary, but even for myself. And I mentioned it on the podcast before, but just in general. So I just know that you were in good hands, and she showed you the example of what being a mother was and is still to this day. She's still your mom. And, kind of showing you that. Kind of give me some background on some of the things that she has done as a mother that's really helped you grow, and really you placed some things that she taught you in your own.
Oh, wow. I think consistency is key. And that sounds generic, but let me give you an example where discipline is concerned. Okay. She always said, kids are so smart. And if you tell them you're going to discipline them, you have to follow through. You have to be consistent, because if you ever mess up once and, get home and la, 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 and, don't follow through, they got you. And so I know that's a wild example, but I never forgot that. And my kids came along, like we said, late in life. And there's times that, in the heat of the moment, you say, that's it, you're going to get in trouble when we get home. And then hours go by, you're out and about, and you're maybe at the grocery store, or you're running errands, or maybe you're at church. Heaven forbid they get in trouble at church. And then you get home, and sometimes as a parent, we almost like forget, I hope no kids are listening, why we were so upset, or what they did that was so wrong, or maybe disrespectful, or, whatever. And I just remembered her saying, you have to be consistent. Consistency will raise good children, and consistency on so many levels. But that is one area that I never forgot. I've got to be consistent as a parent. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Right. For sure. Secondly, she is a very present mother. And so I have so many memories of her being in the moment. And I think that is so much harder in our generation, right, Gary?
Right, it is.
To slow down, to be present, to put your cell phone away. We didn't have them when we were little, but
Nope.
She had ways that she would shut out the world and sit down on a floor, and I'm really going to age myself now, listen to a tape with us. Do you remember the books, and they would ding, you turn the page?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
It even said, ding, turn the page.
Turn the page.
We had a lot of those, and she would sit down on the floor with us and read those books. We loved games. She's big on, let's all play a game together. And I still do that with my children, because I remember what that meant for me, for her to slow down. And now I see her with my, our grandchildren doing the same thing. And so I'm hoping I'm implementing that, but it is hard for parents.
Yes.
In 2026. But I'm still working on that one for sure.
No, for sure. And you bring up a good point that, she instilled in you interaction with your children and keeping it consistent. And I love that for the fact that I've even thought about that recently in my own life. How many times do I get home from work and say, man, I got to do this and this, but none of that includes the kids.
Right.
Not that I'm not including my kids in life. It's the obvious stuff, dinner, homework,
right.
all the essentials, but not that so much one-on-one time, right?
Right.
So I think that, that's great. I'm glad you brought that up, and your mom installed that in you. And I know you're pushing that forward to your boys. And so I know we're a little bit all over the place, but we're just going to jump into, we're going to have fun. So I want to,
motherhood is all over the place,
right?
This is perfect.
The chaotic, perfect storm,
yes.
Right? So I do want to bring to the table the thought process of when you were thinking about having children, and then to when you actually had children. How was that transition for you? Because I know, like I said, me and you both, and I'll tell you for myself.
Yeah.
Going into parenthood, it was a little bit more scary as an older guy, because I knew more about how dangerous the world was, first of all. But second of all, man, I was a little bit more trained in things and a little bit more common sense. When I think in my 20s, I'd been dumb and, well, let's just go and whatever would have happened. But we think things a little bit too much through when we're older.
Yes.
How was that with you?
Well, to be, full disclosure, I was 35 when I had my first child. And my husband and I got married, if you didn't know this about Pastor and I, and he wanted children immediately because we were older. And he said, Rachel, we don't know, what the Lord will allow or not. And we both want to be parents, desire to be parents. And I said, you got to give me time, pump the brakes. And so from like October when we got married to January, I said, do not talk to me about, starting a family until after the first of the year. That was just my request to him. And he was so kind to indulge me. And he said, okay, after January. So January comes along and he didn't skip a beat. Okay, we need to, try for a family. We want a family. We're not getting any younger, as they say. And so we just really gave it to the Lord. We didn't stress. We just said, we'll put it in God's hands. And 3 months later, I thought I had the flu. And no, we did not have the flu. We were going to have Hudson.
Wow.
And so, Pastor must just have a way with God, because it was no time at all. And here we were expecting with our first child. just 6 months into our marriage. And so at that point, I remember thinking, even at that age, have I done all that I want to do? Have I traveled? I said that was important to me. Have I completed my career? Even at that age, I still question those things, and then are we ready? Oh, that's another question.
Oh, yeah. That's
and
tough.
even though we were older, speaking of, there are children running right now. We can hear them. If you can hear them, we are at church and there are children running right now constantly in parenting.
Sound effects.
Yeah, it doesn't even faze us. But I remember even at that age thinking, am I ready? Am I ready to do this? Because just like you said, I had a fear or a healthy respect of the process of child rearing, knowing what the Lord expected of me, what his word outlined for me, and then just protection, provision. Let's talk about the basics.
Right.
And so, fast forward to the end of my first pregnancy, and I remember the night before we were scheduled to induce, I actually just broke down and cried for the first time in that whole pregnancy. And it hit me. This baby's coming, whether I'm ready or not, and I thought to myself, am I ready? And I called a friend, my sweet friend, Maddie Cluette. I drove her crazy, pregnancy and beyond. It's been 10 years now. And I said, am I ready? Can I do this? Because of exactly what you just explained. The world is a crazy place. Times are crazy. Do I have the time? Can I slow down? And she said, Racheal, when they put that baby in your arms, it will all make sense. It's like a light switch. And I'm crying, okay, okay, Lord help me. And immediately, here we go. 48 hours later, here he comes. They hand him to me. We're wheeling out of the OR. And it was like a light switch. Just click. And all of a sudden, I knew what to do. I knew his cry. I knew what it meant. I knew I had no fear of protecting him. I knew the Lord would provide for him through me. He was his child first, my child second. And I just had such an overwhelming peace. I remember that first day of, I'm going to be okay. It was exactly as she said. It was such a God moment.
Wow. Yeah. And it's for a dad, it's totally different. So I'll always have the highest respect for mothers because like you said, you knew the cry, you just knew what Hudson needed when he needed it.
Absolutely.
And
it was wild.
Yeah. It's amazing how God has created that for mothers to understand a child that cannot speak, who can only cry.
It's a language.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I know that with my own wife, and noticing, I'm like, man, I'm just this dumb guy over here. I can't do it. I know how this is just this ESP thing that I can't figure out. But I have the highest respect for that. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit. So you have Hudson. So he's a baby, grows up a little bit, and then we got number 2 coming our way.
Yes.
And that's another thought process because you're already thinking, I'm struggling just with the one I got, right?
And I'm old. Let's add, I know you don't want to say that, but I'll go ahead and say that to our audience. And I was older. Old than older. Yes, you're right.
So how was that thought process when you were going into that? What was the fear?
I can't wait to tell you this part.
Yes, I want to know this.
So I am thinking that we're only having one child. And Pastor, if you remember, had a motorcycle accident in 2019.
Yes.
And we were told in his recovery, he had radiation all throughout his body. And we were told that we would never conceive another child. We even had to sign a medical release that we understood the radiation was going to take that ability from us and that we were okay with it. And I remember Pastor just wailing in the trauma ward of Parkland Hospital. No, God, why would you do this? And honestly, because I was an old maid, I was like, okay, and I'm just signing, I mean, it was me. Isn't that wild?
Right.
That just, I was content with Hudson. I was fulfilled. Okay. And so we sign, and he has to have this treatment. And lo and behold, a year later, we think we have the flu again. And my girlfriend says, I think you're expecting, I don't think that's the flu at all. And you've done this once, Racheal, and so lo and behold, here comes Presley. You're right. And every child is a miracle. So I'm cautious to say, he's our miracle. Every child, every birth is such a gift from God.
Amen.
That everything goes well and this beautiful, little person comes into our life. And so Here comes miracle number 2, Presley. And anybody who knows him, he came in swinging, right?
Right.
But I've testified about this before, and I'll hasten. The week before they were going to take him cesarean birth. So I was prepped, right? There's a date, and that date was looming. And I'm driving down 635, probably the wrong highway to have this discussion.
Yes, definitely the wrong highway.
The most stressful highway probably in all of DFW. And I just remember, I don't know why, Gary, I said to the Lord, why would you do this? And I'm saying this to the Lord, why would you allow another child to come into my life? The world is so horrible, so hateful, so, wars and rumors of wars. And that was before where we sit today. Think about that.
Correct.
4 years ago. But there was political turmoil. There was dissension, among the ranks, so to speak, of our nation. Mm-hmm. People were saying, I'd rather live somewhere else than live in America. All that was stirred up, know. I don't want to be here anymore. Blah, blah, blah. And it just, the world was in shambles. And I remember I said to God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to rear up another child? And I don't know what to tell them to do. And I don't know how to tell them to make it. And it's only going to get worse.
Right.
And I'm weeping, driving down 635, having this conversation with the all-knowing God. And as quick as I said it and the words came out of my mouth, I felt so chastised by the Lord. And I felt the Lord just clear as day say, you didn't make him, I made him. And I made him equipped with everything he needs. Every weapon for every amount of warfare, whether it be spiritual, mental, physical, he has it. It's in his DNA. And he is for, as we all as believers say quite often, such a time as this. Worry not, mama. If I could put it plain,
right.
I felt the Lord say, why are you worried? He is fully equipped. And I can just say that when my second son came out, he is fierce. Mm-hmm. He is authoritative. He is bold. He knows what he wants and when he wants it. And I go back and I remember that conversation with the Lord. And I just feel so comforted as a mother that he was his first and mine second. And these children have everything they need. What confirmation.
That's just amazing. That really is. And that's
I needed it.
You need that strength because I know, there were so many times in that situation as I went through the journey, even with our boys.
Yes, your twins. What a story.
Those guys, we'll have to do a podcast one day about that. But just thinking of the fears and all those, and then of course, like you said, are they going to be prepared for this world?
Mm-hmm.
It's really honestly shakes you to your core at times.
It does.
So that's an amazing. I'm glad you brought that. Thank you for sharing that story with us today, because that's going to matter to somebody listening. And just the two little guys you got right now, they're just going strong. Hudson's in sports, doing his thing,
Mm-hmm.
being just like Dad, dunking on people.
Oh yeah,
out there. Hitting all the home runs like his uncle.
They're loving that.
Doing all those great sports. And I know Presley, he does him. Love it. He is just the most amazing little guy.
He's into everything.
The confident little guy that I see running around. I'm like, yeah, he's got his daddy's confidence.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I love it. So, and they share so much of who you are and their sweetness and their kindness. And I just love it.
Thank you.
It just shows you that God, like you said, God has the plan. We just got to trust it.
Yeah.
And we've been talking a lot about that on this podcast, trusting in God. It's just been a theme of this month almost and last month. And just to see where God has taken you as a mother. So in the situation you're in life right now, you've got these two amazing young guys, but you're also a businesswoman because you and your husband are entrepreneurs. You've got being the first lady role, which is a very important role. You've also got motherhood, which is one of the top roles that you have. You've got so much in your life. You've got a lot going on. Tells everybody out there right now how you make it day to day.
Oh, now you should have prepped me for that question, Gary. That one is loaded, my friend. How do I make it every day?
Coffee. That's all you got to say.
Well, yeah, coffee. Lots of coffee for sure. Okay, now we've talked a lot about age, but maybe that's just a theme here too.
Yeah.
In my 40s, we'll leave it at that. In my 40s, I have learned to start every day with the word. And that sounds cliche, but I reference Sister Melanie Schock, who I heard speak at a minister's conference as I was at. And she talked about starting every day, word before world, put the word on it. And then she came back, she grabbed the mic, Gary, at the end of her session, and she said, and I just want you to know, I was in my 40s before I started doing that. She said, I don't want anyone here to feel inadequate or feel like, they're behind or, they haven't arrived yet or they're not as holy or worthy. She said, I was in my 40s when I realized the necessity of that has to be a priority for me to be a good wife, to be a good mother, to lead my home. And so I'm not going to lie. I'm 45. I'll just say it with boldness. And in my early 40s, I remembered that testimony and I just said, okay, for my life, for my home, for my family, I've got to put the word in me first. How can I lead them without the word? And so all these years, I did not. I'll confess. And then in my 40s, I just said, that's it. This has to be number one. So I get up, I let the puppy out because he beats me. And then I make that pot of coffee. You're right. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to open the word. Use a Bible app. Can I just free plug that? I make no royalties off of any Bible app. But get an app. Get something you don't have to think that leads you. Because as mothers, as fathers, we have this daily grind and I don't want to have to think about my Bible reading. Maybe that's right or wrong. I don't know. But I just like to push play and it's there and it's available. And then I meditate on that word. I journal on that word. And I'm talking about maybe 20 minutes. This is not some super elongated 3-hour prayer meeting in the morning. But that's how I start my day. And then I am very structured. And I'll use a line from Sister Audra Williams, your lovely, one of your lovely co-hosts. Mm-hmm. But she uses the term, there's rest in routine. And I am oh my Lord, I'm just a creature of habit. I love routine. So routine keeps me settled. I, know what I'm doing for that day. I have it planned out and I even write it out. I'm old school. I don't use my phone. I write it out, and then I'm trying by the time those kids get out of school that I can bring my world around, heavy work days. Yes, they come. There's days we're here till 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, serving the church, working here. And my kids understand that. But on those other days, I'm really trying to make for sure I have equal parts. Days that I'm working, days that I'm giving my all. They need to see us give our all, Gary.
You're right.
They need to see us sacrifice. They need to see those long nights. That's okay, parents. That's okay. It's not wrong. Just make sure maybe the next night I'll say, hey, boys, tonight's your night. We're going to go bowling. We're going to get CC's. That's what they like. But and they know that I'm as intentional with that, my work and my serve, as I am with my time with him. And that's pretty much just ever fabulous week of our life.
Yeah. And I appreciate you saying that it doesn't have to be difficult. Yeah. Just use your Bible app. Just do something simple because a lot of times
whatever it takes.
Right. And, and the spot you're at as First Lady, people tend to think, she's probably in the Word of God for 4 hours. Oh, yeah. And she's praying for another 3.
The angel chorus sings behind us.
Right.
No.
I mean, so that's reality.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to bring to everyone today, that you're just like everyone else. I mean, you're struggling day to day to make that 20-minute time. Sometimes it's probably difficult.
Oh, it is. And guess what? Shock and awe, there's days I don't.
Uh-oh. Someone call Pastor.
Oh my, yes, because life is just life. So you get back up and you try again the next day. And I think that is motherhood 101, just get up and try again the next day. I want to be a better version of me the next day. And then the next day, and then the next day until the Lord comes. That's my goal.
That's awesome. And that is so true. And I want to bring up something else too, because we talked a lot about kids, but I want to say this. I know this might be controversial. Please forgive me.
That's good. Let's roll
Sometimes, as one of those guys, I know that you have to sometimes be the mother for even your husband. And let's just be honest. I mean,
I like this part.
It's the truth, and I'm not, downplaying it. There's a lot of guys that are awesome, dude. I try my best. I know I'm definitely not the best, but yes. I think there are times that us guys, we just need our wives to be that mother in that situation.
Sure.
And I mean, it's not that I don't think anything less of the guy. I just think that's nature for some.
Well, the Lord
guys.
made us. We're nurturers. Right? Yeah, we nurture.
So, I mean, just tell me a little bit about that. I mean, how how you are the strong one sometimes when you need to be the strong one in the relationship.
Well, Pastor would love to be sitting right here because he would love to answer this. He would probably say that I am so busy. I am a Martha. I'm a Martha. I am just go, 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 work, work, work. That oftentimes I'll just say it. I neglect him. And I do. And I have a hard time. I have the children. I have the children of the church, the people of the church. And it really takes focus and intentionality for me to slow down and turn and remember my husband. And I think that's marriage conference 101 on both of our parts. I know men have careers. They feel the pressure to be the provider.
Right.
They do work those long hours. They're out taking care of the home front. My husband, bless his heart, cleaned out the garage for days, this past weekend. Men are working equally as hard. And I know it's hard for them sometimes to come in. You said it earlier, to decompress, to put aside the responsibilities we all have, and to nurture one another. We talked about it at a marriage seminar once, that we've had this date book that we're supposed to fill out, and it just collects dust, at our house because we are together a lot, but we've got to slow down and be intentional to be together. We just got back from vacation. Just the two of us. Had to happen. I love my children. I missed them the whole time.
Right.
But we really try to get away. I think that's the thing we do well, is we've learned that we have to get away. We have to get out of our house, Gary, because if you're at your house, you're going to work.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know about you, but I'm going to work. You're going to do it. Pastor's going to work. He's going to find something to put his hand to. If we're here, we're serving, we're being intentional, we're pouring into others, and then always around your children. So the way that Pastor and I do it best, we're still a work in progress, and I always want to be upfront about that. But how we do it best is we physically have to get away. We'll go stay in a hotel in Dallas. We call it a staycation for 2 days. That's not very long, but it's long enough to reconnect. It's long enough to sit in a quiet space, to look at each other in the face, to not have somebody tapping on our shoulder, mama, 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 daddy, 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 and to say, hey, Brandon, hey, Rachel, and see each other again. Right. And that's something that we have made a priority. You can laugh about it. People can say, well, they're gone a lot, or they do this, or they do that. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to keep doing it. I'll just make it public because we know that works for us.
Right.
We know that's important. And let me just encourage marriages. You don't have to get far away. You can just get out of your house, go to a park free of charge, and sit at a park for the afternoon and make a picnic and look at each other in the face without your children. God love them, but without your children, and make space and time for one another. And when you know that works for you, I think that works for every couple, but especially for Pastor and I, we just have to get out of the box a little bit.
Right.
That's what it takes.
I agree. And that's something that I struggle with because I'm always thinking, oh, we've got this to go. We've got to do this. We've got to do this.
And there's always something, isn't there?
It's never going to end. It's just like having kids. It's like getting married. You're always like, oh, when I have enough money, when I have enough time. Well, you might as well do it because you're never going to have enough either.
No. And this is not a marriage podcast, but what we learned, and without going into our past, you know this, but what we have learned through a lot of loss is that when you find what works, invest in that, So do that with your spouse, do that with your children, to each their own. What works in my house may not work in yours, and vice versa. But when you find what works, back to Honey's advice, be consistent.
That's right.
Be as consistent as you can. Be faithful to that, and the Lord will give you the strength.
I love it. And once again, we'll move on to the next thing. But I bring up the motherhood thing with, being in a marriage and a relationship is because of the fact that, so many times we really only have each other at times. We have God, definitely God is giving, but God blessed us with each other. Mm-hmm. There's first a reason that, exactly. So that's why we can lean on each other. And we're leaning on God always. But the physical, like just a hug, sometimes we just need it. You just need that encouragement. And you can only get that sometimes from your spouse.
Oh, 100%.
Or from, someone. It's like, so we'll move past that. It's not a marriage podcast.
No, and I think it's your children. Let's bring the children into it. They have to see you take that time away.
Yes.
When we left last week, Pastor told our children, Mommy and Daddy are going away. Are we going? No, you're not. But you know what? Slow down and explain those things.
Right.
We don't want them to feel neglected. So he said, Mommy and Daddy need time where it's just Mommy and Daddy, and we can be together. We can hear each other speak. We can listen genuinely. And all of a sudden, 2 little boys, 10 and 4, said, oh, okay, love you. They understood.
Right.
There was beauty in that. And what are we doing? We're modeling to our children that our relationship matters.
Correct.
Now, okay, I'll end with this funny story. Last night, Pastor's in the garage. He slows down. He takes the time to come around the corner and affirm me. He said, babe, this conversation we were having 30 minutes ago, I just want to come in and affirm you, tell you you're not alone, that I love you. I'm with you. You're my girl, he said. Oh, look at me making him sound so sweet. But he is. And he hugged me up tight. And behind his back, Presley's going, thumbs down with throw up sign. Because we were smooching and he was holding me close. But then this big old smile, pops up on his face. And we laughed. And Pastor said, our boys need to see us do that more.
Right.
So you're right. Prioritize your marriage. Your kids will then fall in love with that as well.
Yeah, they see you spat, so they need to see you to love, right?
Come on.
They need to see you
Podcast
love.
number 2. I'll talk to you
we'll
about
talk
that.
about that. So, yeah. So, okay. So we're running out of time, sadly. I mean, I would love to do this forever, but I'm going to ask the last question of today for all those mothers out there.
Okay.
What is the gift that you love the most? So that we'll give some people out there some hints of what they could get their moms for Mother's Day. What do you think that people should be thinking about?
Okay. I have an easy answer.
Okay.
Time.
Oh.
I think moms need time. I think they need time and space, and that can kind of be one and the same.
Okay.
And again, I don't always want to throw out an option well, send mom to a hotel. Okay, maybe you don't have the finances to do that. Send mom for a massage. Maybe she doesn't have the time to do that. Maybe dads, it's taking the kids out for the night and having a dad night. And trust me, your kids will be ecstatic. We're going to go bowling. We're going to go to the park. We're going to go get ice cream at Brahms. And you're giving mom the time and the space. Run a bubble bath, put some candles in there. Okay, again, I'm aging myself. Her favorite magazine. Do they still sell magazines at Barnes & Noble?
Maybe a few.
Okay. Her favorite book. Maybe, okay, now let's 2026 this thing. Put her iPad up with her favorite show, on the edge of the tub, ready to go. So this doesn't even cost as much as it is just being mindful. But I think every mom can use time and space because it's not even the man's fault. We are engineered to go, serve, and be, spaghetti, as we call it, all over the place. Constantly, you see those reels where, moms lay down at night and the list, and then dads lay down at night and they're out, right?
Gone.
When I lay down, I've got about an hour to decompress of all the things that I didn't finish today that I need to do tomorrow. Am I speaking to some mother out there right now? So I think time and space for a mom is always such a generous gift on whatever level you can provide that. It shows she's seen. It shows her personal time and space matters and that you care enough about her to give that to her freely. I think that's a beautiful, easy gift.
I love it. That is it. And honestly, it's not that costly. So there you go, everyone. So hey, but don't forget about the nice dinner. You should still do that.
I mean, I am a foodie, so
you should still do that.
But I can Taco Bell it, Gary. I mean, we don't even have to be expensive,
I'm down with that too. So whatever works, or Whataburger, whatever.
Yes.
But no, that's great, and I really appreciate you sitting down with me today.
So much fun. Always a pleasure.
Oh man, it's just I know your schedule's crazy and hectic, but I mean, this is an honor for us. Not only that, being the First Lady of Calvary, we have a lot of respect for you and your time.
Well, you're gracious. Thank you.
We're so thankful that you gave us some great tips today. And everyone out there, make sure when you do see this lady around, thank her and, give her all the love and appreciation for what she shared with us today. And of course, hey, I want everybody out there to know that we want to make sure that we do put the family in a special light, right? Because that is important for all of us. Even if you're not married, even if you're not someone that has some of the things we've talked about, like children, anything, everybody here matters. And today we're just building on the kingdom. And it's something that you heard today that Sister Rach gave you that you could share with somebody else. Maybe it doesn't affect your life, it affects somebody else.
Sure.
Share this podcast with somebody, give it out to somebody, because these things that we do today, the things we talked about, Pastor H, it matters. And it matters to other people. Like you said, mentioned earlier to me, maybe it doesn't help me per se, but it might have helped you. So help somebody today, be a blessing. And this Mother's Day, treat your moms right, treat everyone out there. Any lady that you see that's a part of your life, give them that special day, that time, that effort, and that gift. And of course, thank you for everybody for joining us. And until next time, make sure you're loving somebody, because you just never know who might need a new beginning.